Good evening to each and every one of you present here. And I thank the World Community Service Center, the Life Force R&D, and Dr. M.A. Rabindranath for inviting me for this amazing session on genetic center and consciousness. The divine protection by the divine power may protect us, guide us, and lead us in all our activities, day and night, in all places, at all times. Be blessed by the divine. Today we are going to discuss regarding an amazing topic, an insights from science and Vethathirian philosophy on the genetic center and consciousness. For those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Thavamani. I'm basically an obstetrician and gynecologist, a family physician, author, motivational speaker. I'm medical as well as a spiritual counselor. I'm also author of these wonderful books, Holistic Approach to Women's Health, which was released in Sharjah International Book Fair. That was my first time becoming an author. It was so good that it was converted in Tamil language, Telugu language, as well as in Kannada. I thought I should help doctors also. So I wrote a book, What They Don't Teach You in Medical College, which was an Amazon bestseller. And I have to help the adolescent children and students. So I wrote this book, Students' Health is Future Wealth. It also became an Amazon bestseller. Today we are going to discuss regarding an amazing topic, integrating modern science with Vethathiri Maharishi's teaching on genetic center and consciousness. Thanks to Dr. Shanmuga, because last week he almost cleared so many topics on this genetic center and consciousness. Again, I'm repeating, but definitely it's going to be something different in a very simple way how Vethathiri Maharishi has taught us. Actually, consciousness and genetic informations are interlinked in both modern science as well as ancient wisdom. Vethathiri Maharishi introduced the concept of the genetic center as a spiritual and a scientific phenomenon. This presentation bridges science and Vethathirian philosophy. To understand the concept of the genetic center, and we are also going to explore the consciousness through spiritual and scientific lenses. And we are going to integrate Maharishi's insights into contemporary understanding. The genetic center, in a scientific view, when we see, stores hereditary traits in DNA. DNA can cause changes in physiological and psychological processes, and these changes can also cause changes in neurological consciousness. It acts as a biological memory center, which influences physiology, behavior, as well as evolution. What does Vethathiri Maharishi tell us? It's a subtler aspect than the DNA, which encodes karmic imprints, tendencies, and experiences. It exists as a quantum field of conscience. The genetic center, also called karmayam, subtle seed, is the subtlest core of the human system where all information about one's body, mind, personality, and karma is stored. It is compared to the cosmic chip or the bio software that carries an imprints of countless generations, ancestral, karmic, and cosmic. Every thought, action, and experience creates an imprint in the genetic center, influencing future tendencies and rebirths. Maharshi described it as the meeting point of energy and consciousness beyond the physical DNA, but reflected in it. It's not just a biological inheritance, but also karmic inheritance that shapes a human life. So when I was going through the articles about this Kundalini and this genetic center Karumayam, we see that it is there in all the cultures. Kundalini represents the medical goddess, two serpents spiraling 7 times up a pole, and While they reach the top, at which point they have wings and take flight, said Dr. Edward Benham. The genetic center, according to the Vedatharian philosophy, let us see some of the aspects of this genetic center. Mooladhara. Mooladhara is the foundation, which is located at the base of the spine, represents the center of the physical body. Astral body, the life force, the subtle body that carries vital energy and sustains life, is also in this place. Causal body, the biomagnetism, the field of biomagnetic energy that records and transmits every action, thought, and experience, is also in the Mooladhara. What is the Jivakantam, the divine court of justice? Deviga Nidhi Mandram. We used to think there was this Chitragupta carrying a book around every person and writing down whatever action he makes and writing down in the reaction what he has to follow. That was for us to understand. There is this divine court of justice, a subtle register where every action of the individual is evaluated and its imprints are stored. This process has been continuous since the origin of single-celled organisms, accumulating karmic imprints across the lifetime. The genetic center, each human being carries a genetic center that holds the blueprint of their physical, mental, as well as emotional evolution. The genetic center of the earth holds the collective memory and evolution of all living beings on the planet. The genetic center of the universe connects and governs all creations. All genetic centers of individuals, the earth, and the cosmos are interconnected through the vast magnetic field. Chitta Kasha is the space of consciousness, is the inner sky of awareness where thoughts, memories, and karmic imprints are perceived. Whereas Mahakasha is the cosmic space, is the infinite field of universal consciousness where all informations are stored. How did the genetic center origin? It traces back to the first vibration, the primordial particles created by the merging of consciousness and energy. Every living being carries this original spark. Consciousness exists in layers: physical, mental, and spiritual. Vethathiri Maharishi classifies consciousness into conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. The genetic center is the core connecting all these levels. Consciousness is the awareness of existence, the eternal, unchanging, with beyond thoughts, senses, and experiences. Vethathiri Maharishi defined consciousness as the reflection of the absolute space, that is the moolam, in the living beings. Consciousness functions at three levels. One is sensory consciousness, which is awareness through five senses. Mental consciousness, our thoughts, emotions, and memory. Cosmic consciousness, awareness of self as part of universal being. Through practices like kayakalpayoga and meditation on the genetic center, one can gradually refine consciousness to experience the universal self. The genetic center acts as the storage, while the consciousness acts as the projector. Just as a seed carries the blueprint of a tree, the genetic center carries life's blueprint. Consciousness provides energy for it to manifest. The spiritual practices aim to purify the genetic center, removing the karmic imprints so that consciousness can shine unobstructed. When the imprints are cleansed, the individual experiences clarity, peace, and unity with the cosmos. This is where a doctor is so keen to know about this genetic center and consciousness. See how the genetic center can be purified. We can clarify our experiences, get into peace mode. Karma is stored as subtle energy in the genetic center, determines one's tendencies, health, wealth, happiness, peace, prosperity, and life circumstances. Again, this is a place I was really engrossed into this, understanding this karma and the genetic center. Why, as a doctor, I am helping so many patients, but some of them are cured, some of them are not cured. The same penicillin injection, when it was injected, it was a life saving injection for one patient, whereas it killed the other patients. Wealth. Why are some people so wealthy and some people so poor? Happiness. You see, there are so many poor people who are so happy in their life. There are so many rich people with so much of wealth, but still feeling so unhappy. Same with the peace. Why are some people so peaceful? Why are some people so disturbed? So there are a lot of life circumstances. Why is God so different for different people? Why can't everybody have the same type of health, wealth, happiness, peace, and prosperity? Definitely, these type of questions comes into your mind. Even as these are called spiritual questions, spiritual inquiries. So from childhood, I always had a different type of thoughts in my mind. Like, who am I? What is the purpose of life? So when such enquiry comes, definitely you will be drawn into this spiritual path. Realization and purification are possible spiritual practices. So Vethathiri Maharishi practices are so simple. So as a doctor, when I was on spiritual enquiry, I went into different modes and different spiritual organization to understand what exactly is the spiritual practices. So I came across Vethathiri Maharishi where he taught the simplified Kundalini Yoga, which awakening subtle energy centers to harmonize the body and mind. There are a lot of introspection practices where we are understanding and neutralizing negative thoughts, tendencies, and karmic imprints. The kayakalpayoga techniques for longevity, sexual sublimation, and regeneration of vital energy, and world peace philosophy, transformation of individuals through genetic center purification, leading to harmony in family, society, and the world. So definitely a doctor will be more happy to teach such things along with the medical practices, because I always feel why so many patients are getting diseases and going to the doctor, and again they are scolding the doctor only. They are having targets and they are taking so much of money. Why can't we work on these subtle energies which is within us? So let us see what the brain and the nervous system has a role in this genetic center. So the brain and the nervous system acts as a reservoir and transmitter of consciousness. Definitely through this electroencephalogram EKG, we can see the waves of this in the brain and the nervous system. The brain processes inputs from the genetic center. The mind and brain are interdependent. What is the quantum physics and consciousness teaches? The quantum field theory supports non-locality and entanglement. Consciousness may not be confined to the brain. The genetic center could be a quantum field beyond space and time. The evolution of consciousness is not just physical but also spiritual. Genetic center evolves with each birth. Human birth is a rare opportunity for higher evolution. Genetic center is present in all the living beings, in all the animals, but they don't have the sixth sense. The human being are rare with the sixth sense. That is why we can understand what is genetic center, what is stored in the genetic center, what is karma theory, how we can nullify this karma theory. That is why this human birth is a rare opportunity to raise our consciousness, to raise our evolution. That is what so many spiritual leaders teach us. Yogic practices influences the genetic center. Kundalini awakening purifies the karmic imprints. The simplified Kundalini yoga developed by Vethathiri Maharishi supports this process like yoga, meditation, pranayama, mantra recitation, and introspection. And Dr. Shanmugam clarified lot of these anatomy and physiology of this Kundalini and how it is seen in different cultures and how they are working on that Kundalini energy is explained in so many other aspects. But what we see here is so simple and easy for each and every one of us to understand. Regular meditation centers the mind and aligns with the genetic center. It improves clarity, intuition, and health. It aids in realization of one's higher self. Consciousness has no religion, no belief or ideology, no gender, no sexuality, no race, no age, and no nationality. You are the consciousness. Vethathiri Maharishi emphasized introspection to identify and remove negative tendencies, especially neutralization of desires, analysis of the thoughts, eradication of the worries. Who am I? What is the purpose of my life? Or some of the topics covered in introspection. This genetic center is cleansed by right thoughts and actions. It leads to mental peace and self realization. If we use our discretion not to hurt others, not to slander, not to manipulate, not to cheat, not to violate, not to bully, not to lie, not to further mess up our karma, I think we are doing reasonably well in creating either better karma or erasing our pending ones. Understanding karma is central to Vethathiri Mahari's philosophy. It's also deep rooted in other Indian spiritual traditions like Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Sutra, as well as in Buddhism. Let us see some of the karmas which has been classified. Sanchita karma is the accumulated past actions. All karmas done in past birth and this life are stored in the genetic center like a reservoir of seeds waiting to sprout. Not all will sprout at once. Some remain dormant until conditions are suitable. Prarabdha karma, that is the fruiting action. A small portion of this Sanchita karma is selected to be experienced in this present lifetime. It determines our birth, our body, the parents, environment, and key events in life. So when, as an obstetrician, when I was delivering a baby, I have worked in government hospitals, corporate hospitals, as well as private hospitals. I used to really wonder why this child is born to this parent. Why this child, the children when they grow up, they ask the parents, why are you not rich? Why didn't I be born to Ambani or somebody? Why am I born to you? I hate you. They tell the parents, but it's not the parents who decided to give birth to this child. It's not this child who decided to have these parents as their parents. It is not the child or the parents who selected. It is according to their karmas they are born. The body. So many times we see that. Oh, why I am so dark? Why my hands are like this? Why can't my hairs be curly? Why can't my eyes be beautiful? Why can't I be tall? Why can't I be short? So many questions we ask to ourselves. So many people hate their own body. They try to even commit suicide just because they had pimples on their face, just because they are or some deformities in their body. It is not their problem. It is according to the karmic effects it is born. Yesterday I met a lady in the bank who was appointed because of her disability. With polio, her hands and legs both were affected, but she had a beautiful smiling face. She was treating all the customers so nicely. Even a normal person with the hands and legs also will not talk to us like that. So this is the attitude of each person to accept what we have and go through that. The environment around us, it is up to us to be in the environment whom we select. If you select friends who are smoking, drinking, you will definitely be dragged into that. If you select friends who are in the spiritual path, you will definitely dragged into that. These are the key events which is happening in each one's life. These are the things we can work on our life. Instead of blaming what has happened in our life, we have to accept it and go ahead in life. Prarabdha cannot be erased. It has to be experienced like an arrow already released. We have to experience it. There is another type of karma called agamya. That is kriyamana karma. That is the current actions. The karma we are creating through our present thoughts, speech, and actions. If positive, it reduces future suffering. If negative, it adds to your sanchita karma. Conscious living and meditation help us generate good agamya karma and even avoid creating a new bondage. Modern scientific parallels are also seen. See, psychology, the habits, the traumas, the unconscious memories shapes the behavior. That is the karmic imprints. See, the traumas, if we take, a boy is giving a beautiful rose to that girl and say, I love you. But that girl cannot accept that. So she takes the rose and just crushes it. So whenever the boy looks at a beautiful rose, this comes back in his mind. Whereas there are normally when we see beautiful flowers, we feel so happy, so rejuvenated. But only few people, when they see such beautiful things, still the karmic imprints come and works on them. There are a lot of unconscious memories. We call it as deja vu. Sometimes when you see certain things, you say, oh, I have already met this person somewhere. Oh, I've already come to this place. Deja vu phenomena. There are a lot of unconscious memories shaping our behavior. That is the karmic imprints. Nowadays in science, we talk a lot about genetics and epigenetics. See, the lifestyle and thoughts affect the gene expression. That is what science also says. And these pass on to the future generation. It is nothing but the karmic transmission. The lifestyle. Where are we eating with the modern lifestyle? With eating all the junk food and always in the social media, getting addicted to so many things around us and get into all type of thoughts which is not at all necessary, the desires and thoughts which is not at all necessary. These are all causing affecting the gene expression. That is scientifically proved. The epigenetics is proving that gene expression is being affected by our lifestyle and thoughts. The neuroscience also says the same. The neural pattern reinforced by repeated action mirrors the karmic law of cause and effect. You if you smoke one cigarette, you know that this smoking one cigarette is causing lung issues. It's causing lot of problem. Just to remove your thoughts from your mind, you are just smoking to de-stress yourself. But once you understand that smoking is injurious to health, in spite of writing in the packet smoking kills, still people continues. That is the karma of law and effect continues. There's no point in blaming the doctors. Why the diseases are increasing? Doctors are helping only to cure the diseases. But before that, there are some exercises we have to work on eliminating this karmic law of cause and effect. Can genetic disease be cured? Yes, there is prevention genetics. Even recently, you must have heard that Japanese scientists have made history successfully using CRISPR to delete the extra chromosome responsible for Down syndrome, marking a breakthrough towards potential genetic therapies. Yes, Down syndrome is there since ages. Now the science is finding. Definitely, the science will find out. But by the time, will we be alive? Should we wait for the science to find out some cure for anything? Many genetic disorders result from gene changes present in nearly every cell of the body. Because of this, these disorders often affect multiple body systems and most cannot be completely cured. However, treatments are available to manage or reduce symptoms and in some cases even prevent complications. The treatment of genetic disorders is an ongoing global effort with over 1,800 gene therapies, clinical trials currently in progress. Do you know the cost of these therapies? The gene therapies, do you know the cost of these therapies? Despite advances, most treatment options today focus on relieving symptoms and improving the quality of life for the patients. But Vethathiri Maharishi has taught us a simple, cost effective. It almost doesn't cost you anything to improve your genetic center. Yes, you can improve your genetic center without paying so much of cost, so much of money. One is hereditary. It is the parents who give the ovum and the sperm. That is why Vedathri Maharishi says, introduce Kayakalpa to the school students in their adolescent age. The day they become mature, they can start practicing Kayakalpa exercises. Kayakalpa exercises removes the hereditary implants in the ovum and sperm. Actually, as a doctor, I was also not believing when I used to go to Temple of Consciousness in Aliyar for the adolescent counseling. When the adolescent camp is there, I used to go. There are some research scholars who worked on this genetic center, the effect of Kaya Kalpa on the menstrual cycle as well as on the genetic center. About menstrual cycle, I personally saw these children in 20 days of practice. They used to say, Doctor, I used to have so much of bleeding, so much of stomach pain. After practicing this Kaikalpa and ear exercises, my pain is completely gone. It has even come as a research paper in so many articles where we can work. Isn't it such a simple? There are so many infertility centers around the country, around the state, even villages, because infertility rate have increased like anything. It's so difficult to produce one ovum and sperm. So we have to artificially encourage them to produce. But even then, science cannot, it is costly to take one particular sperm, which is really good, one particular ovum, which is really good. God has already done. Only the best sperm and the best ovum will fuse to make a beautiful child. Next comes the food. What are we doing with our food habits? What happened to all our hereditary food which we used to eat? Our ginger, turmeric. So just online, we just order whatever food is available. We eat all the junk food, and now we are eating medicines as food with so many diseases all around. So we have to really work on the food what we eat. And the thoughts, what we think, the positive thoughts and the negative thoughts, because this is the important law of attraction to our genetic centers. What about our actions? Good deeds leads to good karmas. Isn't it so simple? Bad deeds leads to bad karmas. Isn't it so simple? The transit of planets. We do meditation, especially Panchaputa Navagraha meditation. There's no need to go to temples, do so many pujas and archanas, and just by practicing 9 types of meditation which Vethathiri Maharishi has given to us, we have different remedies for different issues. There are certain things unavoidable, like accidents and unforeseen events. Even this can be avoided by wearing helmet. You can prevent a head injury, right? By driving carefully with the normal speed, by driving according to the government rules, we can definitely prevent so many accidents. There are some unforeseen events like pandemic, like corona, the heavy rains, excessive heat, winds, flood, typhoons, volcanoes, and earthquakes. But we have to go through, but we can definitely come out of it when we work carefully on improving the genetic centers. There are some actions that defile the genetic center, which increase in the frequency of mind waves due to unfulfilled desires like ego, telling lies, hurting others' mind, harming women. The 5 cardinal sins: lust, anger, greed, attachment, and pride; jealousy, anger, or vengeance leading to harming others; deliberate acts of cruelty, inflicting pain intentionally; and extravagant spending, wasting resources and disturbing balance. Like what is plastic making to the whole world? It's almost causing so many diseases, this plastic. How we are wasting water, how we are wasting electricity. What is going to happen to all these resources? So Vedatri Maharishi is such a simple twofold moral culture. Every day when we do meditation, we just recite this. I in my lifetime will not cause pain to others, physically or mentally, to the extent possible. I will remove the pain of others. Wow, such a simple way to remove your karmic effects. Vethathiri Maharishi also explains to us how we are handling this karmic impacts. The expiation, that is, repent and reform. Accept the mistake, repent sincerely, apologize, and make amends. Perform good deeds, help others, respect the body, healthy livings. Akai Hoponopono says, thank you so much. I love you so much. Please forgive me. I'm really so sorry for what I have done. Dissipation, counterbalance. Negative actions create illness and suffering. Like examples, as we said, smoking causes lung diseases. Positive actions, like, okay, you got the disease, but if you take the medicine regularly, eat your food properly, do your exercise, do your services, it will counteract old karmas. Don't blame the doctors. Along with medicines, there are certain other things which we have to work on our karmas. Avoid anger, violence, and misuse of the body and mind. Another is neutralization. Meditation, merge mind with life force with the divine. When we are doing meditation, adding virtues in that, there is no new imprints, old one fades, and leads to purity, peace, and liberation from birth, death cycle. Wow, isn't it so nice compared to the epigenetics and the genetic genome theories? Vedathri Maharishi says 10 steps in the path of virtue, what we can do. Respect and reverence. Parents, guru, leaders, and God. See the divine in all. Realize the presence of consciousness in every individual. Non harm. Avoid hurting anyone by thoughts, words, or deeds. Moderation. Balance in your food, work, rest, sex, and thoughts. This food, work, rest, sex, and thoughts are the one which is in the modern lifestyle culture, which is causing lot of deviations in the path of virtues. Adapt virtues, practice morality, duty, and charity in daily life. Fulfill duties to self, family, society, country, and the world. Serve the society, contribute to spiritual uplift and world peace, respect women, honor and be grateful to women, share wealth, use at least 1% of your income for others' benefit, and meditate regularly for spiritual growth and liberation. Just yesterday, I had a spiritual counseling where a woman in her late 60s called me and said she delivered three children. All three children are in a different place, and they don't have time to take care of her. Now she has some problem, some medical issues. Doctor diagnosed it as a third degree uterine prolapse. In fact, her whole uterus is down, coming out. She's not even able to walk because of the pull. Her rectum is involved, her bladder is involved, and her husband is an alcoholic. He drinks and comes and beats her every day. And she says, what karma did I do? Why this? But since I am into Vedathri Mahashi's practices, I am able to accept everything. But doctor, can't I do meditation and yoga and relieve out of these symptoms? This is the medical and spiritual counseling I do. Yes, of course, her uterus is very important. She delivered babies, but now the uterus is causing her problem. It has deviated, it has descended, and it is pulling the bladder as well as the rectum down. This stage, she can't wait to do meditation, yoga, and get it cleared. It is a medical issue which she has to undergo hysterectomy. She's also scared. Hospital, they are target oriented. Are they simply telling to remove my uterus? Why should I remove? So I talk to them spiritual counseling. It takes a little longer time to give a medical as well as a spiritual counseling. That is how we serve to the society. So you would have seen so many degrees. In spite of having the degrees, how I am putting this into the society, how I am serving the society with these degrees, how spiritually I am uplifting myself and the world peace. That is how each one of us have to do. Nobody can live without money. Of course, we have to have wealth, but at least 1% of it we can share to others. By doing regular meditation, we can have a good spiritual growth as well as the liberation. Science and spirituality need balance. Ancient wisdom emphasized spirituality for peace and harmony. Science is advancing rapidly, but has also created new challenges. Modern lifestyle threats like TV, mobile, cars, social media, radiation, chemicals, pests. Anything used in moderation is good, but when we cross the limit, it is a threat, which results in stress, misery, and genetic diseases are increasing. Haven't you noticed that Down syndrome and so many learning disabilities is increasing around in the world? Genetic diseases is definitely increasing. There is only one solution. Purify the genetic center through spiritual practices. Purify the body, mind, and soul, which is possible to each and every person in this world. The universe is filled with unified magnetic field. Genetic center interacts with this field. Energy transformation is central to Vedathrian yoga. Mind body connection rooted in the genetic center. Emotional and mental patterns affect health. Healing involves awareness and alignment with the universal consciousness. How will a doctor have time to explain all this in her clinic? When after 10 minutes, the person will come and say, Doctor, you are exceeding your limit. The other patient is waiting and they are becoming restless. So this is, we have to go to spiritual centers, understand and work on ourselves. Individual transformation leads to societal harmony. Purified genetic centers foster compassion and unity. Vethathiri Maharishi advocated world peace through individual realization. We have to integrate science and spirituality. See, you see so many doctors, Dr. Rabindranath. First doctor I met in this spiritual field is Dr. Rabindranath. He is a role model for each and every one of us. Even at this age, he comes to the center temple of consciousness. He practices in his clinic. He sees patient as well as he teaches us spirituality. He has learned, he has understood directly from Maharshi Vedathri, and he is trying to spread it patiently. He's sitting and listening. Oh, but in front of him, I'm like Bachu. I am a small child in front of him for the amount of vast knowledge he has. But still, he is sitting and watching what I am talking, and then he is going to give his expert comment also. See, Dr. Shanmugam, last week, how he spoke, he went deep into, he also could have retired and aram say he could have just relaxed, but he want to learn more about spirituality. There are so many doctors in the spiritual community who is trying to help each and every patient, that we have to integrate science and spirituality, because science explores the mechanism, spirituality gives the meaning. Both converge at the level of consciousness and subtle energy. The genetic center is the meeting point. The genetic center bridges our physical and spiritual existence. Consciousness is universal, eternal, and evolving. Vethathiri Maharishi's vision offers a practical path for self-realization. Self-realization is the most important of all the genetic, of all the spiritual practices. Together, we can create a kinder, more compassionate, healthier, peaceful and happy world. Individual peace, world peace is what Vethathiri Maharishi's main intention. That is what we have to follow. You see, when we take up the relationship of a husband and wife, when two givers become friends, it's like magic. I water you, you water me. We never drain each other. We just grow. But with so many jokes about a wife going around in the WhatsApp, you can imagine what will happen to the role of the wife. It's already seen in the society. Nobody wants to become a wife. Everybody is happy with how they are. Yes, I really met so many adolescent children who are almost reaching the 25 years and 30 years. When I ask them, because according to Vethathiri Maharishi, husband wife join together to help each other to swim their karmic effects together, supporting each other and reaching their destination. But these girls are not ready to get married because they say we are happy and peaceful individually. I have enough money, my parents love is enough, and I will take care of my parents. I know, don't need another person to introduce into my life. It's not only husband and wife. Every relationship is becoming a great challenge. Whether it is a mother daughter, father son, mother, or uncle auntie, or brother sister, every relationship is becoming a great challenge. Your greatest weapon is your mind. Train it to see the opportunities, not the obstacles. Real peace begins when the mind is in tune with the soul, says Vethathiri Maharishi. Let us explore, experience, and evolve through awareness. Thank you all very much for your patient hearing. I thank World Community Service Center and R&D Department, Dr. Rabindranath and team for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share this amazing topic with you. Be blessed by the divine. And by the grace of the divine power, may you and your family enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, prosperity, and wisdom. Be blessed by the divine.